Imagine you're sitting at a table, eating the most extraordinary meal of your life. The flavors are perfect, the aroma fills the room, and everything about this moment is exactly as it should be. But instead of tasting the food, you're thinking about the dishes you'll have to wash afterward. Instead of feeling the warmth of the room, you're remembering a meal you had 3 years ago and wondering if this one measures up. Instead of being there at that table in that unrepeatable moment, your mind has wandered off to 1,000 different places. And when you finally finish, you realize you barely tasted a thing. The plate is empty, but so is the experience. This, in a way, is how most of us live our entire lives. We're always at the table, but we're never really eating. We're always in the room, but we're never fully there. And one day we look back and wonder where it all went, how the years slipped through our fingers like water, how we managed to miss so much while being present for all of it. This is the great tragedy that the philosopher Alan Watts spent his life trying to illuminate, not with judgment, but with a kind of gentle, bemused compassion. He saw that we are a civilization of people who are perpetually absent from our own existence, always leaning forward into a future that never arrives or falling backward into a past that no longer exists. And in that constant leaning we miss the only thing that's ever real, which is this, right here, right now. There's something I want to share with you today, a way of seeing that might shift everything. Not a technique exactly, not a method, but more like a sudden recognition of something you've always known but somehow forgot. Toward the end of this, I'll offer you a simple practice, something you can do today, in the next hour even, that might help you stop missing your life and actually start living it. But first, we need to understand how we got so lost in the first place. Here's the strange thing about human beings. We are perhaps the only creatures on earth who can be somewhere and nowhere at the same time. A cat sitting on a windowsill is completely on that windowsill. It's not thinking about what it did yesterday, or worrying about what might happen tomorrow. It's just there, fully, with every whisker and every breath. But you and I, we have this remarkable ability to be physically present while being mentally absent. We can sit in a garden surrounded by flowers and spend the entire time rehearsing an argument we might have next week. We can hold someone we love in our arms and be completely elsewhere, running through our to-do list, or replaying something someone said to us years ago. This is not a flaw in some people. This is the human condition, and until we see it clearly, we can't do anything about it. Alan Watts used to talk about this in terms of time, how we've been trained to think of time as a line, with the past behind us and the future ahead, and ourselves as a little point moving along that line, always on our way somewhere else. But here's what's fascinating. The past doesn't actually exist anywhere. You can't go there. You can't touch it. You can't find it. It exists only as a memory, which is a present experience, and the future doesn't exist either. It's an imagination, a projection, also happening now, in this moment. So the line we think we're traveling on is actually an illusion. There is no line. There's only this point, this now, this immediate experience, and it's not going anywhere because there's nowhere else for it to go. Think about that for a moment. Every experience you've ever had, you had now. When you were 5 years old and opening birthday presents, it was now. When you had your first kiss, it was now. When you experienced your greatest triumph and your most painful loss, it was now. The now is not a brief moment between the past and the future. The now is all there is. It's the only place where life actually happens, and yet we spend almost all of our time mentally somewhere else, either regretting and remembering, or anticipating and fearing. We treat the present moment like a turnstile, something to get through on our way to somewhere more important, and in doing so we miss everything. Watts had this beautiful way of pointing out that we treat life like a journey with a destination. We go to school to get a diploma. We get a diploma to get a job. We get a job to get money. We get money to retire, and then we retire and wonder what happened. Where did the years go? We were so busy getting somewhere that we never noticed we were already here. Life isn't a journey from point A to point B. Life is more like music. When you listen to music, you don't listen to it in order to get to the end. The point of the music is not the final note. If it were, the best musicians would be the ones who played the fastest, who got to the end quickest. But that's absurd. The point of the music is the music itself. Each note, each phrase, each silence between the sounds. And life is exactly the same. The point of life is not to get to the end. The point of life is to be fully here for the living of it. But here we are, millions of us, rushing through our days like we're late for something. We inhale our meals instead of tasting them. We half listen to our friends while composing our next sentence. We take vacations and spend the whole time photographing them instead of experiencing them, as if the purpose of being on a beach is to prove later that we were on a beach. We've become collectors of moments rather than inhabitants of them, and there's a quiet desperation underneath all of it, a sense that something is missing, that life is somehow happening just out of reach, that we're watching it through a window instead of living it directly. And the tragedy is that what's missing is not something we need to find. What's missing is our presence. We're the ones who aren't there. There's a particular kind of suffering that comes from this, and it's so common that we barely notice it anymore. It's the suffering of never being satisfied with what is. Right now, wherever you are, there's probably something you think needs to be different before you can be at peace. Maybe you need more money, or a better relationship, or improved health, or more recognition. And the belief is that once those things change, then you'll be happy, then you'll be able to relax, then you'll be able to enjoy your life. But if you look honestly at your history, you'll notice something interesting. You've achieved things before. You've gotten things you wanted. And for a brief moment, maybe, there was satisfaction. But then the mind immediately generated a new set of conditions, a new list of requirements for happiness. The goalpost moved. It always moves. And so you've spent your whole life chasing a satisfaction that keeps receding into the future, like a rainbow you can never quite reach. Watts saw this as a kind of cosmic trick we play on ourselves. We're always preparing to live, but never actually living. We're always about to arrive, but never arriving. And the joke is that there's nowhere to arrive at. This is it. This moment, with all its imperfections, with all its ordinariness, this is your life. Not someday, not when things improve. Now. And if you can't be present now, you won't be present then either, because then will also be a now, and you'll find some new reason to postpone your presence, some new condition that needs to be met before you can finally relax into being. Let me tell you something that might sound strange at first. You have never experienced the past, and you will never experience the future. All you have ever experienced is the present moment. What we call the past is just a present memory, a thought happening now. What we call the future is just a present imagination, also a thought happening now. The only thing you have ever known directly, immediately, without the mediation of thought, is now. And yet this now, this only reality, is the one thing we perpetually overlook in our obsession with time. There's a wonderful image that Watts used to evoke this. He talked about how we're like people at a party who are so worried about what's going to happen next that we can't enjoy the party. We're standing in the middle of the celebration, surrounded by music and laughter and interesting people, but we're not really there. We're in our heads, planning, worrying, comparing, judging. We're spectators of our own lives instead of participants. And then the party ends, and we realize we missed it. We were there the whole time, and we missed it. This is what it means to be missing your life. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong in some conventional sense. It doesn't mean you're making bad choices or failing at your goals. It means something much simpler and much more profound. It means you're not there for it. The sunlight coming through your window right now. Are you seeing it? The weight of your body in your chair. Are you feeling it? The sound of these words as you hear them. Are you actually hearing them? Or is part of your mind already somewhere else, thinking about what you'll do after this, or what you should have done before? There's no blame in this. It's simply how we've been trained. From the moment we were born, we were taught to think in terms of goals and achievements, to always be working towards something. Even our leisure became goal-oriented. We exercise to get fit. We meditate to reduce stress. We take vacations to recharge so we can work harder. Everything becomes a means to an end, and we lose the capacity to simply be, to do things for no purpose at all, to waste time magnificently, as Watts might say. And here's the deeper paradox. The more we try to be present, the more we can fail at it, because trying to be present is still a form of doing, still a goal, still the mind trying to achieve something. Real presence isn't something you do. It's something you fall into when you stop doing. It's what's already here when you're not trying to get somewhere else. You can't practice your way to the present moment because you're already in it. The practice is simply to notice that, to stop for just a moment, and recognize where you are. Watts used to say that muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. When you stir it up trying to make it clear, you just make it muddier. But if you leave it alone, it clears by itself. The mind is similar. We don't have to fight our thoughts or try to empty our minds. We just have to stop stirring. Let the thoughts be there. Let the feelings be there. And notice what's already present underneath all the activity, the simple awareness that has never gone anywhere, that has been here all along, that is reading these words right now. There's something else Watts emphasized that I want to share with you, because it's often missed in discussions about presence. He talked about how the desire to be present is itself a form of absence. If I'm sitting here wishing I were more present, I'm not present. I'm in my head evaluating my experience, comparing it to some ideal of what presence should feel like. And this is another trap the mind creates. It takes even the most liberating insights and turns them into new sources of anxiety. Now, on top of everything else, I have to worry about whether I'm being present enough. But that's not the point at all. The point is much simpler. It's to notice that whatever is happening now. Even distraction is happening now. Even thinking about the past is happening now. Even worrying about the future is happening now. You can't actually leave the present moment. It's impossible. What we call being absent is actually just a certain kind of present experience, the experience of thinking about something else. And when you see that, really see it, something relaxes. You realize you don't have to get anywhere. You're already here. You've always been here. You couldn't be anywhere else if you tried. Think about a time when you were truly absorbed in something, so engaged that you lost track of time. Maybe it was a conversation, or a creative project, or a walk in nature. In those moments, were you trying to be present? Were you working at it? Of course not. You were simply there, fully involved, without any gap between you and your experience. That's your natural state. That's what you are when you're not interfering with yourself. Presence isn't something you achieve, it's something you allow by getting out of your own way. And this is the invitation that Watts extended throughout his life, not to become something different, but to recognize what you already are. Not to get somewhere, but to notice where you've always been, the you that is hearing this right now. The awareness in which these words are appearing, that's what Watts was pointing to. It doesn't need to be improved, it doesn't need to be developed. It's already awake, already present, already whole. The only thing that seems to obscure it is the constant movement of the mind, the endless chatter, the perpetual reaching for something else. And that chatter is not your enemy. Those thoughts are not problems to be solved. They're more like clouds passing through the sky. The sky doesn't try to get rid of the clouds, it doesn't struggle against them or wish they were different. It simply remains what it is, the open space in which clouds can come and go. And you are like that sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go. Feelings arise, feelings pass. Experiences appear, experiences dissolve. And throughout all of it you remain, the awareness that witnesses it all, the presence that is never absent. So why do we keep missing our lives? Because we're hypnotized by the contents of our experience, and we overlook the experience itself. We're fascinated by the movie, and we forget we're the screen. We get lost in the story, and we forget we're the one reading it. And the story keeps promising that satisfaction is just around the corner, that happiness is in the next chapter, that everything will make sense when we get to the end. But there is no end. Or rather, there's no end that resolves the story. The only resolution is to wake up from the story while it's still happening, to realize that the movie is made of light and the light was always there, playing on the screen of your awareness, which is what you are. There's a moment that can happen, and maybe it's happening right now, when you suddenly see through the illusion. Not through effort, not through practice, but through a kind of recognition. You recognize that you've been chasing something you already have. You recognize that you've been trying to get somewhere you've never left. You recognize that the present moment, this one, right here, is not a stepping stone to something better. It's the destination, it's the point, it's what you were looking for all along. And in that recognition, life changes. Not because the circumstances change, but because you're finally there for them. The meal tastes different when you actually taste it. The conversation is different when you actually listen. The walk is different when you actually feel your feet on the ground. Everything becomes vivid, immediate, alive, not because reality changed, but because you stopped waiting for it to change. You stopped holding out for something else. You arrived finally at the place where you've always been. Now, as I promised, let me offer you something practical, something you can carry with you from this moment forward. It's not a technique to master, it's more like a reminder, a way of gently waking yourself up when you notice you've drifted off. Here it is. Several times today, just pause, stop whatever you're doing just for a breath or two. Feel your feet on the floor, feel the air entering your lungs. Notice one thing you can see, one thing you can hear, one thing you can feel. Don't analyze it, don't judge it, just notice it. Be there for it. That's all. That's the whole practice. And when you notice that your mind has wandered, which it will, don't criticize yourself. The noticing is the waking up. The noticing is the presence. You weren't present, and now you are. That's not failure. That's the whole thing happening exactly as it should. You see, this isn't about being present all the time. That's another trap, another goal, another way of postponing peace. It's about being present now, just now, this moment, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, not as an achievement to maintain, but as a gift to receive, again and again and again. Watts once said something that I carry with me, something that might stay with you too. He said that this is it. This moment, right now, is the only thing that's real. There is no other time to be. There is no other place to be. This is the destination you've been traveling toward your whole life, and you've arrived, you're here. You made it. The question is simply whether you're going to notice. So notice. For your own sake, for the sake of your one precious life, notice where you are. Feel what you feel. See what you see. Hear what you hear. Be here, fully, just for this moment. And then see what happens when you stop missing your life and start actually living it. If this exploration has opened something in you, if you feel a shift, even a small one, in how you're seeing things, I want to invite you to stay with it. Don't just let it become another video you watched. Let it be a doorway, and I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share what changed, even slightly, in your way of seeing. What did you notice? What woke up in you? Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you found value here, consider subscribing. There's more to explore, more of these Wattisian journeys into the nature of time, the illusion of the separate self, the art of letting go. Each one is an invitation to see something you might have missed, to remember something you might have forgotten. And if you know someone who lives in their head, someone who's always rushing, always planning, always somewhere else, share this with them, not as advice, but as a gift. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is help someone wake up to their own life. In the next piece, we'll explore something equally strange and wonderful. We'll look at the voice in your head, the one that never stops talking, and we'll ask a question that might change everything. If you can hear it, then who is listening? Until then, don't wait for life to begin. It already has, and you're in it, right now. Don't miss it.